Not if you can
Maybe
hear
not.
us. I think it's delayed by like
Okay.
30 seconds, I think, maybe a minute. So cool.
Awesome.
All right, I'm gonna assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So we can start out by.
Okay, so if you don't know us yet, or if you're someone's parent or this was shared to someone else's page, I'm Nate. This is my wife, Alicia.
Yeah.
We were teachers for quite a while, but we were looking for something just kind of on the side that we could make extra money because teaching, it paid the bills, but we wanted to start a family, and at least in Florida, it's pretty difficult to have a single teacher income with like a stay-at-home parent and a kid. We actually would have qualified for food stamps if we had tried that.
Yeah.
So we started selling things on Amazon on the side. We kind of looked into it, and it looked like something that was a good fit for us because it took as much time as you wanted. Like you can do it just a little bit, or it could be your full-time thing. So I liked that it was sort of flexible in that sense. And it was also super scalable. So if it did turn into something, I could see how it could grow exponentially pretty quickly. It's not at all like selling on eBay. Some people think like, oh, you sell on Amazon. I used to sell on eBay. They're not really related at all. It's a completely different beast. We'll kind of get into that, but for now, we just wanted to share our story. So how we started is we were teachers, trying to do it on the side. I was talking to Alicia. I told her about Amazon. She was super skeptical, did not really think it was going to work. She's like, yeah, that's one of those weird internet marketing things. Or it sounds like an MLM. I don't really know why people are telling you about this.
Sounded like a scam.
Yeah. So, and I had done like hours and hours and hours and hours of research. Probably, I was researching this for a good solid week before I talked to her about it. So when I went to her, I was like, okay, I know it sort of sounds weird. It doesn't really sound like it's going to work, or it sounds like selling on eBay, which we don't like at all. Can I take like $100? This is what I was saying to her. Can I take like $100 and just test this? And if it sucks and if it doesn't work, then fine, I'll quit. That $100 was like our fun money for the next few months. But it was an okay amount of money for us to lose if everything didn't work out. And if it just completely failed, we were okay losing $100. So we started with $100.
So basically from there, we started with that $100, and then he went and scanned everything in our house, like the books on our bookshelves, anything that was unopened in our home, and then we sent in our first shipment.
Yeah, so we sent in our first shipment with this $100, and something that was really important to us at the beginning was to not take anything out of this. We were gonna only use $100, but we weren't gonna pull anything back out of it. So whatever that $100 became, we were just gonna keep using that.
Yeah.
So I scanned everything in the house, anything that had a barcode, we'll kind of get into that, but if it has a barcode, it's really easy to scan and see what it sells for on Amazon. So that's what I did, used $100. I went to a bunch of thrift stores, garage stores. Now I wanna preface this, I don't recommend this. We didn't know that what we were doing, we shouldn't have been doing, but this is just how we started. We went to thrift stores, garage sales, things like that. We scanned a bunch of things and sent it all in.
Yeah.
So
fast forward to like our first. Finally, we were actually. I remember the night we had our first sale. So it was actually it was super late at night, and
it was literally a light bulb. It was a light bulb moment.
Oh, that was punchline.
Because we sold a light bulb. I'm just here to steal the thunder. All right, go ahead.
Reclaim my time.
So I came running into the bedroom. It was like 10:30 at night. I came running in, jumping up and down. Alicia, we made our first sale. It's a light bulb. So we were super pumped. Within the first week, pretty much everything that we had sent in had already sold.
And from there, I was like, oh, maybe this will actually work. So like I saw the profits coming in, and I saw it actually working. So from there, that $100 turned into like $300, and then we just kept snowballing it. So if you imagine that money doubling every month or so, 2.5 years later, here we are.
I mean, we got really fortunate with a few things. Like the timing here in Florida was fantastic. There was blizzards up north, but it was 90 degrees here. So there was a lot of like cold weather things that we were finding at like our local Walmarts and things like that. That were flipping really, really fast. So we definitely had like a lot of luck at the beginning, but that's not required at all. So
after about a year of doing this, it grew so much. We were still teaching full time that we actually had to outsource a lot of our work. So basically, after a year, we had family friends come and help us prep the stuff.
And we were still teaching this whole time.
Yeah, we were still teaching, both of us full time. And then we also had some friends shop for us as well. So we were able to outsource quite a bit. Yeah.
Oh, a bunch more people got on.
Hey guys.
I see. Ooh, Mahoney got on. Ryan Pruitt. He was Jordan's neighbor for a while.
Nice.
Hey guys. Garrett Penn, Cody Keppel, Mr. Forrester, Joanna, Eileen, Allison Deshone.
I know her.
Oh, okay. Marcus. Hey guys.
Yeah.
Marcus, tell your brother to say hi to me. So we were teaching this whole time, and it scaled to a point where I was spending. I couldn't spend enough money. I couldn't pack enough stuff. I couldn't ship enough stuff.
So basically, like every weekend, every holiday, every vacation day, everything was spent like doing Amazon stuff, and it just became too much to teach full time and to also do that. So.
Yeah. So we eventually started hiring out some of the simpler jobs. When you pack stuff together and ship stuff, there's a little bit of prep work that's involved. It's very minimal. If it's like an article of clothing, you just have to like put it in a bag. But most things we just put a sticker on. We take like clearance stickers off, and then we put it in a giant box. So we were hiring that out. We hired some like high school age kids. Paid them like $10 an hour, and they just kind of packed stuff up for us, and it was working really well. So we were doing that from our apartment. Eventually, it got even to the point where I couldn't spend enough money because we were still teaching. I mean, I was really only shopping. Like I would go to some Walmarts in the evenings, and then I could do bigger trips on the weekends. Go to like at this point we were kind of going to outlet stores and things like that, but.
Time was really our biggest inhibitor, and so we have finally reached a point. I believe it was when we reached 500,000 in sales.
Yeah.
We reached 500,000 in sales, and so we thought, okay, now might be the time to think about quitting our jobs and just doing this full time. So we crunched the numbers, and we were making more on Amazon than we were teaching, and we were actually losing a lot of money on Amazon, but just because of not having time. Yeah,
being like us having to be physically present at the school was costing us more money than we were making. Now, we both absolutely love teaching, especially Alicia. I mean, that was really, really hard for her. But we were also really passionate about starting a family, and we were looking into like foster care, things like that. So we felt like that was a larger calling than teaching was. So that's when we crunched the numbers and decided, okay, we're going to take this side hustle and turn it into our main source of income. And just stop teaching.
This past year was our first year doing it completely full time, no income from anywhere else except for Amazon. And we are stay-at-home foster parents doing Amazon from home.
Yeah, it's pretty great. We get to stay home. We've got 2 little kids now, 2 under 2. It's pretty crazy. We went from 0 kids to 2 kids under 2 in about 10 minutes of time.
So the great thing with Amazon is that like if there's a doctor's appointment, if there's something that needs to happen, we don't have to call in or anything like that. It's on our time.
Yeah, everything's on our time, and we can just schedule around. I mean, we still work, but we work when we want for however long we want. And at this point, we've scaled our business to a point where it's more so our money that's doing the work and less our hours. With Amazon, it's sort of a trade. You either are putting in a lot of time into the business, or you're putting in a lot of money. You can't really get by like without either one, but you can sort of trade. So if you have a lot of time, you can put a lot more legwork into finding those like $1 items that sell for $30, or like going to thrift stores to get books and things like that. Like, if you have the time, you can definitely do this with very little money.
You can literally start with $25, and if you can snowball it and you have the time to put in it, then you can grow it from $25.
And then on the opposite side, if you have money, I know there's a few people in here that said either like they have money, they just don't really have time to start something, or there was even some people talking about they already do Amazon, but they do it in a different form than us, and they'd be interested in like hiring someone and just pointing them our way. Be like, oh, here, learn from them, and here's how to do it, and we'll fund you. So so that's sort of the first part of this video. We just wanted to kind of introduce ourselves, talk about where we've been, where we've come from. A bunch more people logged on. Cindy, Leonhardt, Max, a couple more Amazon people. Susie Jones, she taught me how to sing.
Oh, so I could see a question here.
Jason Palmer.
Favorite
What about your favorite employee?
We still have some awesome girls that come in and prep our stuff for us, and
Oh yeah.
one of them's here.
Yeah, one of them.
We love them.
One of them's in the audience. Hey, Emily. So that was the first step. We wanted to introduce ourselves. Now we get a ton of questions from other people, like how do we start this, and how much money does it take, and how much time does it take, and just a lot of people that have heard about Amazon FBA. And there's a lot of information about there. People get a lot of ads on Facebook. People see a lot of ads on YouTube. Now it's a little bit tricky because there's really 4 different methods of selling on Amazon.
Yeah.
What we do specifically is called retail arbitrage. So there's retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, which is basically we go to stores like Walmart, like Kohl's, places like that.
Yeah.
We'll find items that are on clearance or items where we can stack discounts on discounts on discounts on discounts, and then we will sell that back onto Amazon.
Can you show them actually the thing?
Yeah, so.
Right here. Okay, so I was at Target and I justify my Target purchases by getting things we can sell and making the money back. And so I was sourcing at Target and I found this Jasmine doll for $5.98. So we'll show you what we mean by. So
there's going to be an app on your phone. You can't see it too well, but on the Amazon Seller app, there is like a picture scanning thing.
Yeah.
So you take the picture scanning thing and you can scan any barcode.
Scan the barcode
that you find.
I'll type the name.
And it will pull up. I don't know if it's going to focus on that. That's a bummer. It's not quite focusing.
That's okay. We've got
it did pull up.
We've got stuff to show you.
It'll show you things. There's something called the sales rank, which is an indication of how many of that product sell or how fast that product will sell. It will show you the buy box price. The buy box indicates what price point will show up. Like if we go onto Amazon and we type this in, whatever it is, what is this called? Glamorous Jasmine. We go to Amazon and type Glamorous Jasmine Barbie doll or something, and we click on this. If we're not really looking through the listing at all and we just click buy it now, when we click buy it now, the person that we're buying it now from is the person who owns the buy box. So the buy box is like the buy it now person. It's the one who gets the sale 90% of the time.
Yeah, a good way to just learn the app. So the app tells you all the information that you'll need, how much it's selling for, if you'll make money, how quickly it sells. That app will tell you everything. So a good way to just kind of get familiar with Amazon. The app is free to download. Is just to download it and scan things in your house that you already have.
Yeah,
that's a good way to get familiar.
So rewinding a little bit, this is retail arbitrage where we're going to a store, we're using the app, we're scanning stuff. There's online arbitrage, which is very similar. Just instead of walking to a physical store, you're doing it online, or sometimes you're hiring people to scan through lists of items online. Yeah. So that's retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. That's what we do. That's what we know. Mm-hmm. Some other people do methods like wholesale. So wholesale is where you would contact like
a big brand,
Hasbro, and say, I would like to order 10,000 of this product, and what kind of price point can you get it for me? Yeah. So wholesale, it takes less time to spend your money because one order is going to be a few $1,000s.
There's a lot of know-how behind it that you really need to.
There's a lot of know-how, so there's a bit more, I would almost say, risk at first, because you sort of have to go really deep into an item, get a lot of an item before you really test things. So wholesale can be a fantastic option. It's not what we do all the time. We've done a little bit of wholesale. We have some familiarity with it.
But I would highly recommend doing retail arbitrage first before you get into wholesale, because you could really get yourself in trouble by buying something that you don't understand.
So, and then the last method that people use with Amazon is private label. That's often what you'll see from the advertisements, like on Facebook and YouTube and things like that.
Make $1 million in a year.
And private label is fantastic. It's phenomenal, but it is the most difficult of the methods. It has the highest amount of risk, and it takes the highest amount of initial capital, because when you are doing private labeling, you are creating your own brand, you're creating your own item. Usually you're ordering from like a manufacturer over in China through something like Alibaba.com. Yeah. And you have to sort of build everything. So if we wanted to private label a plastic kitchen bowl or whatever this is made out of, we'd have to put in an order of $5,000 or $10,000 to get 2,000, 3,000 of these from
And again,
China.
if you don't know Amazon, you can really get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, so it is a great method. There's tons of money to be made. It's not what we do, so we can't really answer a whole lot of questions about private label or wholesale. But if you have questions about things that are arbitrage related, that is all us.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, and I'll type the name. It's retail arbitrage.
And if you're doing your own research via YouTube or however you want, I highly recommend to include the
retail
the
arbitrage.
method. Well, if you're not doing retail arbitrage, just include the method keyword in your search, because if you just type how to sell on Amazon, you're going to get a bunch of different videos that tell you a bunch of completely different things, and all of them are correct. They're just all for a different method. So make sure you include the method that you want, and you research the methods a little bit if you would like.
So let's go back to this. And so I told you how much it costs $5.98, and you scanned it with your app, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the gist of what we do.
So we're in the store. We scan this.
Like, oh, it's clearance.
It's clearance. We see it's a good price. We think that might sell. Even actually, most of the time, I honestly don't even think about what the product is. That was something I had to sort of teach myself. Like, I don't know as much as the computer knows, and just take my own brain out of it and just mindlessly, like a zombie, just scan everything.
I know one mistake people make is they say, oh, well, I like this, so I should only scan this. No one really cares what you like, and you know, the world doesn't really. Oreos. Yeah, done. We sold a ton of Oreos.
Yeah, we did.
We sold a ton of Oreos.
Yeah, we don't watch Game of Thrones and we don't really eat Oreos, but we have sold a lot of Game of Thrones Oreos.
Yes. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter what you like. What it matters is what the app says. So there's things that we've sold that we would never purchase or pay for, but people do.
So you're in the store, you scan this. I see it has a sales rank that I like, and we can kind of go into sales rank maybe later.
It'll probably be a different video.
That's sort of a different rabbit trail, but just know, so the sales rank is like how fast it sells. So I know this item is selling well. It's got a decent amount of reviews. I see the low price on Amazon, or the buy box, is $17.31. All right, so $17.31, the app will tell you all of this. So let's see, right there, I'm backwards.
I bet you can get it here. Let me see it real quick.
There it is. So $17.31 is the buy box price. It tells you the fees with FBA. So Amazon is going to charge you $5.88 in fees to sell this. Now Amazon is doing all of the work. We don't fulfill any of these orders. They fulfill all of it. They do all customer service. They do all advertising. That is a tiny fee for the amount of work that Amazon is doing for us. So after that's all said and done, the gross proceeds right there is $11.43. Now we paid $5 something for this. So this item, if we sold it, is probably going to about double our money. Yeah,
so we got $11.43, so then you pay yourself back what you spent, and we make $5 basically in net profit.
Yeah, for those who don't know business terms, the gross profit is like before you pay yourself back for the item, and the net profit is after you pay for everything.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what we do, because we're thousands of items.
Yes, that's basically what we do. We just do it on a monstrous scale. Yeah.
So you can see with like this how it's easy to start really small. And I need to say too, because I know there's a lot of people that haven't really heard a lot about Amazon. Amazon is not super fast money. It's not instant overnight money, but it can be big money. It can provide.
Yeah, again, you are either putting a lot of time into it, or you're putting a lot of money into it. We started without much money, and we put a crazy amount of time into this. 2.5 years later, now we're not putting as much time into it, and we're putting more money. Oh, hey, Rachel. And Stephanie. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
So now, like with the foster kids and everything, we don't have as much time, but we have a lot more money because we've built the business, we've built our systems, we've outsourced a lot of things. So some people see us and they're like, man, you guys are like hardly working, which we're not putting a lot of hours into it, but we're putting a lot of our money back into it. And so now instead of us making money, it's now our money is making us money.
It took a year of basically working 24/7, and then 24/7, and then now we've got systems in place now. So yeah. And also too, one thing that we did that I recommend if you start an Amazon business doing too is to not touch the money until you've got a good amount coming back to you. So we started with $100. We were living off our teacher salaries, obviously. So we didn't touch the money until we quit our jobs. So that every penny that you don't take away from your business, you can put back into your business. So it's really important that you think about that. That penny that you put back into your business will turn into like 2 pennies.
Yeah, so in our first year, now keep in mind, like we put a ridiculous amount of time and we did not pay ourselves a single dime. Like every penny that we made, we put back into it.
But we grew so fast.
So in our first year, we started with 100. At our 12-month mark, like 365 days later, we have sold almost $200,000 of product.
And just so people just know our numbers, net, what would be like the actual profit from that?
We usually take home between 20 to 25%.
Yeah.
I think that first year was more because I was putting in more legwork and getting more like home run items, but it was just taking me longer to find them. So probably more 25-30% that first year was actually what we were earning ourselves, like what was actually profit.
Yeah.
So we wanted to sort of run down basics of how other people can get started. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Tanya. Or Mama. That's Alicia's mom. So we wanted to run down sort of how other people can get this started. So the first step is obviously you have to create an account on Amazon. There are two options. One option is sort of hidden. Amazon doesn't, I mean, they allow you to do it, but they advertise the professional option. So the two options are you can have an individual seller account, which is free, or a professional seller's account, which costs $40 a month.
Real quick, before you keep going, if you are just dabbling in this, please create a free account. Just try it out just to look. Don't pump in, don't just go for $40 right away.
Yeah, if you
get the free, I mean, it doesn't cost
anything. If you don't have a lot of time and you don't have a lot of money, you can create a free account and you can try this on one or two things and sort of see if you understand how it works, see if it's something that you like. And if you don't, then
great.
Cool. Now, if the difference between the two, a free account, you are going to get charged $1 per item that you sell. So some pretty basic math is as soon as you think you're going to sell more than 40 items, it's time to switch over to the professional plan because then it's going to be cheaper to be paying them $40 a month. Because on the professional plan, you list things for free. So that's the first big difference.
The professional plan is like $39 a month, just so you.
Professional plan is $39.99. The second big thing is on a free account, you cannot and will not ever become ungated in products. We'll get into that later, but that just means there's a lot more restrictions on what you can and can't sell.
Yeah.
So step one is you open an account. We wanted to try and share our screen to show, oh, maybe we can't do it once we started.
Oh, darn.
I don't know if we can.
Best laid plans.
Oh, no. All right. Unfortunately, we can't show our screen.
But can at least type in that. We'll link to the website.
So you're going to go to sellercentral.amazon.com, unless you are Meg Coast, who's in the UK, and then it'd be sellercentral.amazon.uk. This does exist in, there's an Amazon in
most places.
I think there's like 9 or 12 different Amazons. They have it all over the place.
So any Canadians are in here?
Yeah, there's Canadians, Amazon Mexico, Amazon Japan, it's not Amazon Korea, which there should be.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
But anyways, yeah. So you're going to create an account, go to sellercentral.amazon.com. You'll find a homepage. You want to click register. Now, when you click register, right in the middle on the homepage, it's going to say, okay, click here to register. Don't click there if you want the free account, because you'll see in like a little like subheading underneath it, it's going to say $39.99 per month, blah, 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 blah. You want to scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. There's going to be a little section like right in the middle of the screen that's in like 12-point font. It's not the big font, 12-point font. That's like, do you only have a few things to sell? Try an individual account. So the keyword is individual account. If you can't find it, here's another life hack, Control F, individual account, and it'll highlight that on your screen. So that's step one, you create an account. It's pretty straightforward. They'll ask for like your banking info. They'll ask for either like a business EIN number or your personal social security. If you're just starting off, personally, I wouldn't worry about creating a big business because you don't really know where this is going yet.
I think we didn't register for EIN for like a couple months.
Yeah, we were probably 4 or 5 months into it before we did and we just did a sole proprietorship at first, which is free. We did everything very basic. Like we personally started with the free one. We listed 40 items. We're like, okay, let's go to professional. And as we sort of hit new milestones, then we purchased things. We didn't really pre-buy anything. I don't know if that was the wisest, but that's just what we did. So after you've created your account, then you're going to want to set your budget and make sure you stick to that, because it's super easy to get crazy excited about this, like what I did. I mean, I went to stores like, okay, Alicia, we've got credit cards. I'll just spend it all. Like day one, whatever we have, I'll spend it all. So it's
why
really
we're
important.
a good
Yeah.
team.
So, and she grounds me. So it's really important to kind of figure out what is an amount of money that I am okay losing if this fails and I suck at this.
Let's
and I don't
repeat
like
that
it.
question one more time. Let's repeat that like one more time. So if the amount you want to start with, like if you are just starting out, you don't know anything about Amazon, start with a small amount that if you completely lose it, it's not a big deal. So we started with $100 because if we lost $100, it would be okay.
And I also want to note, this is again for retail arbitrage.
Yes.
The other methods, it's not possible to start with this amount of money because you're ordering large quantities from either a wholesale person or
Yes.
from China, like a manufacturer. So retail arbitrage is really the only way to start with a small amount of money. If you have lots of money, then you can look into then you can look into the other methods, and that's great, but we can't really help you. So yeah, so once you pick your starting amount of money, then I recommend scanning everything around your house. It's good practice for scanning things. So go to your bookshelf, find a book like the 4-Hour Work Week or whatever is on your shelf, and find the barcode and scan that, okay? Mm-hmm. If it's already in your house and you've already read it, it's free inventory as long as you're okay getting rid of it.
Sell it.
So yeah, we sold, I mean, we had
all
1
my
or 2
books.
boxes.
We sold all
and
my
she
books.
was a teacher of a couple different grades, so I mean, at the time, she was teaching 1st grade, so she sold like a bunch of 5th grade books that she didn't need or use anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, so scan everything in your house. That's just free inventory. We made a lot of extra money doing that. That was really easy.
Real quick. So when you scan things in your house, like books you can sell on Amazon used. So this would be like a really good, like to be
like used like new. We have it, we've opened it, but it's like perfect condition. We might have read it once and then it's been on the shelf ever since then.
Even if this book was brand new and we had never touched it, we still would not sell it new on Amazon because we wouldn't have a receipt. So anything that you sell new on Amazon, you have to have a receipt to back it up that it is new, or else you can get in a lot of trouble. So
yeah, unlike eBay, where people just kind of list items, Amazon really pushes for like the authenticity of an item. And if someone claims that this book is, like if we sold this as new and someone says, I think this is used, it looks like someone opened this before.
We would have to prove that
someone
it was
could
new.
say that to Amazon, and then Amazon would come to us and would ask us for our invoices or our receipts to prove that the item is authentic and to prove that it was new.
If it's used, you don't have to prove that, that you purchased it or whatever. If it's used, you don't have to. But if you sell something that's brand new, then you need to have a receipt to back it up.
Yeah, so it's important.
Receipts.
Yeah, if you're finding stuff around your house, or again, like how we started with like thrift stores and garage sales, what we did we shouldn't have done, but what we recommend to people, if you're going to garage sales and thrift stores, that's great.
Yeah, do it.
You just need to make sure that you list things as used, because you can't prove that you purchased this item as new. Even if it looks brand new, you just never know.
And even and certain things can't even be sold as used. So like clothing, you obviously can't sell as used. Toys have to be brand new. So even if like there's a super awesome brand name jacket that's not brand new, you can't sell on Amazon. Do eBay for that.
Oh man, we've got tons of people logging in. Hey everybody. I see Justine, Mr. Carpenter, Steve Swope. We got all the Swopes in here. Lauren, hey guys. Adam Forster. Oh, your brother's here too. Tony McGraw, Nancy, hey Aunt Nancy. Hey guys. Real quick also, as we go, if you guys have any questions about this that you want us to answer, put them in the comments at the end of this little video. We're going to try to get to all the comments and all the different questions that people have. And it's easier if you kind of write them ahead of time so we can go through and answer. Yeah. So if you have questions, type that in. All right, so you have your budget. You've scanned everything in your house. Then what do you do? Okay,
so after that, you'll want to start scanning at stores. So you want to go to things like maybe Walmart would be a good place to go to. Mm-hmm. So basically in the beginning, I know a lot of people get discouraged in the beginning because you're scanning all the time and you're not actually, there's certain brands you can sell and certain brands you cannot sell.
And even categories. So for example, I believe now the toy category is gated for people, just starting off. So if you go to Walmart and you scan something that's a toy and it says, you're not allowed restricted, it'll tell you in your app. It's not like a surprise. You can't get this wrong as long as you're looking at all the information that's provided to you.
It's right on the app.
But it'll say this item is restricted. If you click on it, you can figure out why it's restricted. So if an item is restricted for the category, okay, that kind of stinks, but now you need to learn the category of toys I can't sell in. So I shouldn't waste my time ever scanning another toy until I'm unrestricted in that.
I know a lot of people get discouraged in the beginning because you are restricted in a lot when you start out, but if you continue to scan, if you put in the time, you will find stuff. Didn't you say, I think 80% of the stuff we sell now?
Yeah, so currently we do quite a bit. We haven't quite hit the $1 million mark in one year, but we're getting close to doing $1 million in a single year.
Yeah.
And yeah, about 80% of the product that we sell is not gated for anyone on Earth. I know people get really down and really frustrated. That's one of the first major roadblocks that
all unrestricted,
stops
I can't
almost
sell
everybody.
this.
You go to Walmart, you scan 100 items, and 99 of them are restricted. Yeah, that's pretty common. But just keep going. I mean, there was days where I would go to 5 Walmarts, and the first 4 Walmarts, I would find nothing. I was restricted on every single item, or nothing made any money, or I mean, whatever.
You come home,
like I would come home so disheartened. But then the next day, I'd go to one more Walmart or whatever, and I'd find a whole shelf. Like, oh my gosh, I can spend like $1,000 at this place, and I would just buy this. So now when you are looking at items, like once you're at the level of like going to Walmarts and things like that, another really good way to kind of mitigate your risk that we highly recommend is...
Did you make this public real quick?
I think it's public.
Okay. We're going to check and make sure it's public real quick.
It is. Okay. Yeah, it's public.
Okay,
so if you guys want to share this, you're welcome to share it with any friends that you want to show this to. And this is all recorded, so if you log out, you can go back later. So a big way to mitigate your risk is we say go wide instead of deep. So instead of, if you see these bowls on sale and you're like, man, this is making a ton of money, I'm going to make $10 for every single bowl I sell, and I know they're going to sell out like crazy, I'm going to buy $1,000 of bowls.
Do not do it.
You might, but especially at the beginning, you don't know what you don't know. And we made this mistake.
And if you've been doing Amazon for a little while, then you can make, we've made big purchases before, but if you're just starting out, we really recommend to just buy 1 or 2 things here and there of each product, because if you, like he said, you don't know what you don't know. So yeah, we've totally made this mistake before where we spent our entire budget on one thing, thinking that it's a home run, all the numbers lined up, and it just like completely, it like bit the dust.
Yeah, especially we tried some wholesale. We don't do as much wholesale now because our first few experiences with wholesale were all like that, where we spent like $2,000, which was most of our sourcing budget. The numbers were great, and then a few other people jumped on the listing, and then the numbers were terrible.
Yeah.
We were stuck with all this product that we couldn't move.
So yeah, never.
So yeah, get 1 or 2 of this, get 1 or 2 of that, 1 or 2 of that, 1 or 2 of that, and just keep going. Go wide instead of deep.
Yeah.
I recommend doing that for a number of months. I mean, even like 6 months in, we were still making like dumb mistakes where it's like, oh, I should have known that. Or
now at this point, there's times if Nate sees something when he's outsourcing and like, certain, like at one of the places that he shops, if there's like 100 of these things, then we feel comfortable now getting them. But in the beginning, you really just need to take it slow.
And it's not just like a comfortableness with like the knowledge of it. It's how big of a chunk of my sourcing budget is this? Because if I have all week to spend my money and I go to one store and within an hour it's like, oh, I can spend $10,000 on bowls, I'm just going to do it. Well, I'm probably not going to do that if that's my entire budget for the entire week, because if that fails, well, I can't buy anything else to make up for that bad buy.
Yeah.
But if I have a big budget, I can set aside $1,000 for bowls. And that's not a big risk anymore. So that's a good way to sort of mitigate your risk is go wide. Hey, Eric Trumbull and Nathan Rasbaugh. So yeah, we've got a little whiteboard over there with like a little bullet points.
Let's tell our secrets. We remember all of this.
So
off top
that's just between us, guys. Don't tell anybody. So so yeah, after you've got your items, the next big thing you got to learn is how to send it into Amazon. So again, at the beginning we mentioned this is nothing like eBay. So whatever you picture in your brain, just throw it out because it's probably nothing like what we do. When we get home, we have our pile of stuff that we have purchased from the store. We know they're all good buys. We will usually use a computer for this. You'll go to Seller Central and you can go to add a product. And then right in there, you're just gonna type in the barcode. You do that for all of the products you have, and you don't have to take pictures. You don't have to add listings. You're not creating something. It's not like eBay. This item already exists on Amazon. You're more like stocking the shelf. rather than creating a listing.
Yeah. You're a supplier for Amazon. You're not creating the.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can add things if you want to, and you can change the listing once you're on it, but that's a whole other rabbit trail. You just type in what you have and you type in what you want your price to be. Usually we just match whatever the lowest price is so that we can compete for that buy box option.
Yeah.
So you list all your items, then it's going to take you over to a shipment. Amazon will automatically create a shipment plan for you. They will tell you which items are going to which warehouse. Usually your items are split up a little bit, especially at the start. It's awesome. Oh, thanks. She's a makeup artist.
Oh, cool. Oh, I remember.
Yeah. So, shoot, what was I saying?
Sending in inventory.
So once you have everything, Amazon is going to kind of split up your shipments, especially if you're buying one of this and one of that and one of those and one of these.
Yeah.
They tend to get split up a little bit more, but that's sort of a cost of learning how to do this. So Amazon's going to tell you, okay, these 5 bowls are going to go to the Houston warehouse, and those 10 books are going to go to the Indianapolis warehouse, and these 5 shoes are going to go to Indianapolis, but to a different warehouse.
So basically, the way that differs from eBay is that with Amazon, you put most of the stuff into one box and you send that big box to Amazon. You don't send products to individual people like you do with eBay. Like eBay, you need everything in your garage or your house or whatever, and then there's an order, and then you send out that one order. Amazon FBA is not like that. You send in all your products at once to Amazon, and then it's out of your house, which is really great.
Mm-hmm. And it's in the Amazon warehouse, and
they store it.
From the warehouse, they fulfill the orders. So when Bobby Joe from Hawaii orders this bowl, then Amazon is going to tell their little robot to go to this warehouse and pull this item off the shelf
and you
send it to Bobby Joe and give the money to Nate and Alicia.
I'll show you our orders page too.
You can't watch this as closely as I would like. Will you be posting this so I can view it?
Yes.
Miss Henline, it should be recorded and it'll be available on my page, on Alicia's page, and it should be public. So if you wanted to share it, that is A-okay with us.
Is there things on here that we can?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
It's all Walmart stuff.
It is all Walmart stuff. Okay, this stuff, like we said, if you just keep going.
I'm still going to Walmart and buying stuff from the shelf. And it's sort of crazy. Like, we are almost doing $1 million in sales, and a big chunk of that is still just junk I'm finding on the Walmart clearance shelf. That baffles me. It's sort of sad that I make so much more than a teacher makes, but whatever.
Okay. All right, so basically this is what your order page will look like. These are the things that we have sold in the past few minutes while we were doing this live video. Let me see.
There we go.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, so like we sold this is a multivitamin. I bought that for $3.50 and it sold for $11.96. So we made some money on that. So as stuff sells, Amazon will fulfill it. You don't have to worry about any of that. You just have to make sure you send it to the right warehouse. As far as like how to ship it, once you put everything in the box, so I'll go back to my example. You've got these bowls going to Houston, the books into Indy, and the shoes into Indy. So you've got 3 boxes, all full of random stuff. You've got your shoe box, your book box, and your bowl box. Amazon, once you're done, Amazon will let you choose if you would like to use UPS or FedEx or a different carrier, and then they will give you like a printout that you can print from home, where the charge, so like let's say it costs $10 to send the bowls to Houston, and the charge for that from FedEx or UPS or whoever you choose will go directly to your Amazon account. Now how that works is you get paid every 2 weeks from Amazon. So if you don't sell anything your first 2 weeks, then you're gonna owe Amazon $10 at the end of 2 weeks, and you'll have to pay that invoice.
For shipping.
For the shipping. But if you send stuff in and within that 2 week span you start selling stuff and it's going into your account, then the payment for that shipment is just deducted from your paycheck. So you don't actually pay for shipping up front. You do eventually pay for it, but you don't have to pay for it up front, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. So that was.
I know it's kind of hard to see all of this without like seeing it right in front of you. We'll do a more in-depth video soon about like creating shipments and everything. Yeah.
So and then lastly, some of the really common roadblocks that people come into. Did you want to go into that?
We've gotten a lot of questions about this. Okay, so a big roadblock I know is being restricted, like we talked about earlier. Now, just because you're restricted in the beginning does not mean you'll be restricted forever. You just have to prove yourself to Amazon that you can sell these big brands. So in the beginning, we were restricted in so much. I felt like every almost everything it seemed like we weren't allowed to sell.
Yeah, I mean 90-95% was restricted for us.
But if you put in the work and you put in the time, and you start making good sales,
right? Alex knows what's up.
Yeah, and if you're making good sales, Amazon will see, oh, their account is really good, they're making a lot of sales, they're buying good products, and then they'll start allowing you to become ungated in other things. So now we're allowed to sell huge brands like, Nike, Under Armour, really big brands that not many are allowed to sell because our account, because we're making good sales. So I know that's one big roadblock.
Yeah, so that's restrictions. And like Alicia mentioned, you can get unrestricted. There's sort of two different paths. Either you sort of prove yourself to Amazon. So there's not like a hard rule that Amazon has officially announced. There's just sort of people in groups talk about what they find.
Yeah.
Usually you have to be selling for like 6 to 12 months, and you've got to be selling like 2,000 items or so per month. That's sort of like the general-ish consensus as when people started getting automatically ungated in things. The other way to get ungated in things, which is just fine, and we've done this as well, is you need to get an official invoice, not a receipt, but an invoice from a wholesaler or directly from the company. So for example, we wanted to sell Hanes. There was a lot of like bras and underwear and things like that at Kohl's that we were finding, but we were restricted in it. So I contacted Hanes and I said I would like to open a wholesale account. They said, okay, great. Here is our minimum order quantity, an MOQ. Or minimum opening order quantity, MOOQ. And we had to put in an order, I think it was like 50 items or something, I don't remember exactly, but we had to order a certain amount from them, and the stuff wasn't making us money. I think I was even losing like 50 cents, but it was worth it to me to get ungated. So there are ways to get ungated. It's not impossible. It just takes some work, but that's a good thing, because if something takes a little bit of work, it weeds out a lot of the really lazy people, and a lot of times you can make really good money if you're willing to put in a little bit extra work in a few key areas.
Yes. Absolutely.
So yeah, so that's the first big roadblock. Second big roadblock we see people run into is,
I think it's not on our board, but I think not keeping track of your sales properly, not doing the accounting properly. So you really need to have a good system down before you start. So make sure you have your receipts saved. Make sure you keep good track of your budget, because that's a huge thing that you'll run into if you're not organized. So I say that's a big roadblock. Can we only pin one comment at a time?
Oh, that's annoying.
We can answer that. We can just.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
We're seeing a lot of great questions.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Keep it up. If you have more questions, leave them there. We're almost done, and then we'll just kind of start rapid fire through the questions.
Yes.
So next big roadblock is going too deep on something. So I've seen a lot of people be like, okay, Nate, I've got $500. What should I go get? And I say, okay, go to Walmart, scan everything, and get a few things of whatever. And they'll go, and they'll get like 20 of one item. And maybe it sells really well, and maybe it doesn't. But that's such like a huge chunk of their $500 that now they're just kind of sitting around twiddling their thumbs, like, oh no, is this going to sell?
And that could be making
what
them
should I
money.
do? And then, instead of buying 20 of that one item, they could have bought one and just kept putting in more and more legwork and got one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those.
Yeah.
And then by the time those 20 sell, they could have sold one of 20 different items. And so we really recommend going wide when you first start. That's the best way to get your feet wet. You learn more that way because you're learning different categories, you're learning different sales ranks, things like that.
I think something too that's really hard in the beginning is like not understanding rankings.
Yeah.
So basically when you scan something, there's rankings. So if something is ranked number 1 in that category, so say I buy a pair of pants and it's ranked number 1 in that category, it's going to be selling like thousands of pants a day. But if I buy a pair of pants that's ranked like 1 million, it's never going to sell. But each category is different. So like 1 million in books is good, but 1 million in clothing is not. And there's a cheat sheet that we can provide you guys, but I know that gets confusing for some people.
Yeah, if we want to go into that, there's really 3 methods of looking at how fast an item is going to sell. You can look at the sales rank, and there's some like online sales rank charts to give you a general idea. You can look at sales rank. You can look at how many reviews something has and when it gets reviewed. So Amazon says on average 1% of orders get reviewed. So if you see an item and it has 100 reviews and it looks like every month it's getting about 1 review, then you can sort of extrapolate that 100 of that item is being sold every month. Roughly. I mean, it's not perfect, but to give you a rough estimate.
Yeah.
And then the third way is there are some online tools that cost money, like keepa.com, Keepa, is by far the best method, but it costs money and it takes a little bit to learn. So, and that'll show you when items are selling. So yeah, so that's the next big roadblock. And the last roadblock is you're running out of money or you're running out of time. And then, I mean, you're going to run into both of those issues.
No matter what, we still run into like figuring out time versus money balance.
Yeah, there's always a bottleneck. There's always something that is stopping your business, and you just have to adjust. So if you have tons of time, or like you're a teacher and you're on summer break, then go to a bunch of Goodwills and scan every single book that they have. Like you are going to find profitable items, or go to all the garage sales and look for like people's textbooks, or go to UCF. Yeah, so there's ways to trade off time and money, and you kind of always have to be like evaluating that.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, that was pretty much everything we had as far as the basics, I think.
Now we're going to be posting like a lot more information for you guys, and we actually created a Facebook page called Hustle Buddies, and I'll put the link in the comment section for you guys. But if you want to learn a little bit more, and we'll be doing more videos, Hustle Buddies, this Facebook group is like a support.
I will post that comment now.
Perfect.
All right.
There it is.
So there's our Facebook group.
Yeah.
If you have questions, we're sort of trying to make a community so we can kind of push ourselves more, because we can kind of get lethargic in our business as well. I mean, if things are automated, it's easy to forget about it.
It's a good way for us
easy
to
not
grow,
push. So yeah, it's a good way to keep us accountable. It's a good way for us to answer people's questions publicly, and maybe people have the same questions. So,
and like I said, we'll go more in depth into things like rankings and shipments.
Yeah. So we're going to be making a group, and we'll probably do some more of these Facebook Lives.
Yes.
It looks like we had a bunch of people come and watch this.
Yeah.
So we might start doing this a little more often, maybe show you some like behind the scenes types of things if people are interested in that. So yeah, we're going to start trying to go through some of the questions. Again, if you have questions, put them in the comment section below, and we will hopefully get to it.
Let's actually answer. Dave commented on our status today. So we posted basically our numbers from the shipment we just sent in this week. So that was like, the shipment we just sent in was from this week. And I think it was going to all sell. We spent like 5,000, right? We spent about 5,000, and it's going to all sell for I think 18,000. And then our net profit is a little over 6,000. So Dave,
after we paid ourselves back for the 5,000, we made an additional 6.
Just the profit is the 6,000.
Yeah.
And Dave had a really good question about how much time, like investment, that took for us.
Yeah. So in order for me to spend $5,000, I went out shopping about like 4 half days. So I would leave at maybe like 9 in the morning and come back a little bit after lunch, come back at like 2-ish. So I'd say it took me about 4 half days to spend that amount of money. And I'm going to places like Walmart. I'm doing a lot of outlet stores. When you're first starting, don't go to outlet stores. Everything is going to be restricted for you, so don't bother with that. But that's just it's what we do. We just want to.
Wherever you shop, those scan, because it'll be good practice.
Oh, definitely. Any store, even the dollar store.
Yeah.
I've sold tons of stuff from the dollar store.
So it was 4 days of shopping, half days of shopping.
Yeah, 4 half days of shopping. And it took about a day and a half of prepping. So like taking clearance stickers off, putting clothes in bags, putting bags in boxes, shipping to Amazon.
Yes.
That took about a day and a half. And we have 3 employees that help us with that. Some of them were watching, and they probably logged off by now. It's been a while, but,
they do enough Amazon.
So we do hire some people to help us with that, and just pay them like $10 an hour.
And they prep and stuff for us.
So yeah, so 4 half days, a day and a half of prepping, and then the items that we sold in, everyone sort of has a different method. Some people like buying like a 10-cent book that might sell in 6 months, and other people like buying a $10 pair of pants that'll sell for $20 or $30 in like a month. So there's sort of like, you can either make like a slow dime or a fast penny.
We're the fast penny more.
Yeah, we tend to be in the more like fast penny side of things, so we can just kind of keep churning and churning and churning. But we definitely have items that we've purchased or things we've gone really deep on that we shouldn't have, that are still sitting in the warehouse. So so I would estimate it'll take about 2 months for 90% of the stuff that I purchased over the past 4 days to sell.
Yes.
So that's
but the actual work, it was maybe like 5 days of work, I would say.
Yeah.
5 days of work. Yeah, Bayron had a really good question about buy box.
Oh yeah, so Ms. Bayron asked if the buy box is below, like if you won't make any money at the buy box, what do you do?
Do you price match?
Usually we won't price match. We'll price a little bit up. Now we pay for some software so we can sort of see like the history of the price.
Yeah.
Actually, that's actually free from Keepa. So if you go to keepa.com and type in the UPC, you can see the historical price of the item. And if it just looks like this, well, you probably at a loss.
Yeah.
Either sell it at a loss or go back and return it. I mean, it's only been a day or two since you bought it, so no big deal there.
But if you just sent it in and someone's dropping the price, just wait, because there's been a lot of things that we've sent in that some person just drops their price, and if we just wait, they'll sell out, and then we can just sell ours for the higher price, if that makes sense. So if you just sent it in, and I would totally wait and not price match like penny by penny.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna lose money.
Yeah, Eileen asked, how much were your shipping costs offsetting your profit in the beginning?
Good question.
That's a great question. Very little. So shipping costs, I would say on average about 50 cents per pound when you're first starting and you're sending to a bunch of different warehouses.
Yeah.
So 50 cents per pound. Our boxes were usually about 20 to 30 pounds of stuff. So it's like 10 bucks, 15 bucks per box.
Yeah.
But I mean, we would have a lot of profit in that. I mean, a box, think about how many, like, so if we bought pants, we can fit 20 pairs of pants in there. If each one's selling for $30, 30 times 20, that's $600. That's $10 for $600. It's pretty negligible.
Yeah.
So it does depend. I mean, if you're shipping like cans of Pepsi or something, then your shipping costs are going to be really high and your profits are going to be pretty low. So, I mean, it depends on what you're selling.
Well, and the nice thing too with Amazon is that you can ship up to 50 pounds. Like your box can be way up to 50 pounds when you send it into the warehouse.
When you scan as well, this goes along with Eileen's question. In the app, when it tells you those fees, it is including its estimated shipping costs. So Amazon knows how much that item should weigh, and you can tell Amazon on average what your shipping costs are. I think it's automatically set to 50 cents. So when it tells you how much the fees are, that's guesstimating, like that guesstimation is including what your shipping to Amazon costs.
So you don't have to try to calculate the extra, shipping costs in your profits. There was another question. Oh, about categories that are profitable. Nathan Rasbaugh.
Oh yeah, Nathan Rasbaugh asked, are there certain products that you found more success in than others?
Not really. I mean,
it sort of changes depending on what we need. So like that find success in could be anything. If it's just plain things that we find profitable, literally anything. I mean, we have sold anything from like fireplace cleaners to hangers,
cans of corn.
That was one of our favorite ones. We've sold like electronics, like high-end things like that.
It doesn't matter.
Everything in between.
Like it really doesn't matter the category. It really matters the ranking. So yeah, because people buy everything on Amazon now. So it's not necessarily like a more profitable category. It's more about how fast it sells. Yeah.
Did you have Bayron's questions on your phone pulled up that we could go to?
Yes.
And let's see. I think that's about all the questions.
We did touch on how to become unrestricted. I know she was wondering about that. And then how do you find products to restock? Like to keep finding more products to
okay, so finding items to restock, the Amazon word for that is called a replen. And some people love replens. We don't do a lot. We do a few replens, but not a lot.
Yeah.
I know like my sister does a ton. We've got some friends from Bethel from college that really like replens. The trick with replens is to scan everything. I mean, like take 8 hours of your day, go to an aisle of Walmart and be like, okay, I'm gonna scan every single item in the baby food aisle. Or maybe instead of just scanning barcodes, maybe someone added this to Amazon but didn't add the correct barcode. So maybe they only added it by name. So you can try searching by name. That's a nice little pro tip is sometimes you can search by name.
That touches on her next question is how do you add a product that doesn't show when you scan?
How to add product doesn't show when you scan.
Or how to add to a listing.
So sometimes items don't have the correct UPC and you can search it by name. There's an infinite amount of products that just don't exist on Amazon. You can add things to Amazon. We do very, very little of this. My sister does though. So if that's specifically what you want to do, like you want to find things that no one has ever sold on Amazon and you want to create the listing and add the bullet points and add the description and add the pictures, you can probably post that in our group, and I'm sure my sister, we've taught her how to do this, and I'm sure she'd be happy to help. kind of explain how to add stuff. We're not experts in that. Anytime we have to add something to Amazon, we always ask her. Let's see, the inventory placement service is an interesting option for anyone. Oh yeah, so if stuff is getting split up, if you're, so Jonathan mentioned inventory placement service. That's sort of a fancy Amazon word for Amazon will tend to put similar items in the same warehouse. So they won't split your boxes quite as much and it costs a little bit. We do that, we recommend it. I don't see any problems with it.
Yeah.
Can you stay for a couple of days to intern and shorefish? Heck yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on down.
We've got some DIY projects we need help with too. So
and do you babysit?
And DIY babysitting jobs. Yeah. Yeah, if anyone's in Florida, ring us up. We're like 15 minutes from Disney.
Well, this is public, so.
Oh, I guess, yeah, that's true. If you know us, you are welcome to come visit and stay with us. If you don't know us, we'll meet you for coffee or something.
Probably not even that.
Maybe, we'll see. Depends how friendly you're looking.
Yeah, okay.
All right, consider it done.
I know she was also asking about, is it risky to order from Alibaba?
So someone asked, is it risky to order items from Alibaba? That goes back to the method. So that is private label. Private label on Amazon is not at all what we do. We have no experience in that. We have knowledge of it, but we don't do it. So I don't want to really teach people about that because I'm only teaching secondhand. I don't have any experience and it's just what I've read. So I would say that it is risky to order from Alibaba because you have to order such large quantities and you'll have to create the listing and all that stuff. But that's just my take on it.
And if you can order it from Alibaba, like pretty much anybody can order from Alibaba, so I don't know, it just seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
Are there any other questions?
all the questions. I don't want to keep people here too much longer. It's been.
But before we go, make sure you go ahead and click that link and join the group. We'll also be posting on our Facebook page, and feel free to share this video as well.
Yeah. If people are asking questions or looking for a new side hustle, this worked great for us.
Yeah.
This isn't like an MLM where we don't get anything. We're not trying to sign people up. Don't PM us for more info. That's like the MLM tagline. Don't PM us. Just point people to the video.
Yeah.
And yeah, if it seems like a cool fit, then awesome. Join the group, and then as people sort of have questions and comments and things like that, we can sort of build a community around that and help people publicly through that, so we can help multiple people.
And that group is a great place to post questions. So because probably someone else has the same question as you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We've had a few people stick with us the whole time, so we appreciate it. Yeah. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.